Welcome to the Cracking the Growth Code podcast, where we explore practical growth and leadership insights to take you and your organization to the next level. I'm your host, Matt Zembruski, and I'm pleased to have as my guest today, Kayode Bewaji. Kay is a master transformation enabler with expertise in Agile, process engineering, project management, product development, DevOps, digital, and AI transformation. He's also a co-host of the Africa Accelerator, if I say that right, but the Africa Accelerator, I'll let him pronounce it in a minute better. The Africa Accelerator podcast with a focus on how Africa can use technology as an equalizer to catch up with the rest of the world. He's equally the founder of Kayode Foundation, and a foundation that focuses on STEM development in Africa, which is another very hot topic. So, Kay, welcome to the call. Welcome to the podcast. I'm really happy to have you here.
Thank you so much, Matt. Yeah. The only thing that you kind of killed a little bit was my name, but it's okay.
I get everything right except the most important thing. So your name is Kayode Bewaji, right?
Yes. Yeah. Actually, my full name is Kayode Bewaji.
Kayode Bewaji.
Yeah, but my friends, acquaintances, they call me Kay. So
excellent. So let's jump in, Kay, to introduce yourself. You and I just got a chance to meet for a couple minutes before we kicked off the show here. But for the sake of our audience, just tell us a little bit about yourself. You have a lot of cool things going on, like the foundation and the podcast. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're most passionate about when it comes to Agile and leadership. Just broad brush.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Matt, for this opportunity. Yeah, again, my name is Kayode Bewaji. I'm originally from Nigeria. I grew up in Lagos, Nigeria, which is the most populous Black nation on earth. All right. And then after my university days, I traveled to China. So I'm a college professor in China. I was actually teaching business English in China for some time. So with that, if you want to learn some Chinese Mandarin, I am your to-go person.
All right.
So, and now when it comes to leadership, because right now I work in the banking sector in the US, and I'm an Agilist. So like you rightly said in my profile, I am a master transformation enabler. I enable things to happen. All right. Because when it comes to Agile transformation, AI transformation, digital transformation, a lot of bottlenecks, are there to take care of. All right. So when you put people first, which is the human centricity of what we are doing, so you need somebody who has that passion to talk to people. You need that person who has a thick skin like a buffalo. All right. I tell people that I am a buffalo in the rain. And they ask, what do you mean? I said, because when a buffalo sees the storm coming, buffalo do not run away from the storm. It runs through the storm, unlike a cow or a bull. So, and that is who I am. All right. So with that, I am so passionate seeing people succeed. Because when you succeed, I succeed in my role. So, and that is why I say I am an enabler. And concerning the podcast, it's called Accelerate. All right. That podcast is about using technology as an equalizer. For Africa to catch up with the rest of the world, because you and I know that when it comes to technology and the West compared to Africa, there is still this large, very wide gap. All right. So this podcast is what we do, and then it's just a side thing. And I'm also the founder of Kayode Bewaji Foundation, where we use STEM, to bring that technology at the same time to drive it for the young ones in Africa.
That is fantastic. Let's talk a little bit about your foundation. So this is a nonprofit organization focused on educating the youth of all of Africa, just Nigeria. What are the ages and what's sort of the region that you focus on?
Okay, cool. As it is now, because we just got started, so it started from Nigeria. And I'm really happy to share with you what we have done. Like what we do, like I am a product of University of Lagos, Nigeria. All right. So this foundation, about 3 or 4 months ago, we gave endowment fund to the university. Okay. The fund is for the best graduating students in engineering faculty and science faculty. Okay. And just next week, they are going to be having a convocation ceremony. I mean, where the students will be graduating and they'll be celebrating and all that. And two best graduating students, okay, are going to benefit from this foundation come next week.
Wow. So what is it? So are these, when you say university, you mean the college level, or you mean
college. Yeah.
So the top two students at the university, because you've been raising money for your organization, I'm guessing, and partnering with different places. So the top two students at a university in Lagos, where you went, are going to get some benefit. They're going to get some additional education or some support in STEM or Agile, or I guess, what do they get as a reward?
Okay, good. For now, they're going to get cash prize.
Wow, money.
Yeah, it's money they will get to encourage them. Of course, when it comes to the economy and all that, so money goes a long way in getting them started with whatever they want to do immediately after the university. So next week, so this best student, they are going to get this cash prize from Kayode Bewaji Foundation.
That is so wonderful that you're doing that, and I'm guessing you probably announced it earlier in the year or give them some advance, so it's probably competitive, competitive little battle.
Yes.
And they're going to announce it when, in a couple months, when they graduate, or
next week?
Next week,
yeah.
Wow. That's exciting. Are you going to be there on Zoom?
No, I'm not going to be there, but we have some board of trustees that will be there in person.
That's exciting. That is really great. It's so great to support. I'm very passionate. My brother's very passionate about supporting the education and really bringing out the best. I can tell that you're an amazing leader who serves, because you really understand how to bring out the best in people and how to really help. Like you said, having the buffalo skin, that's the first time I've heard that, but I like that a lot. I'm going to use that with my family this weekend. We're always talking about how to accelerate and how to be stronger, and in the face of adversity, right? And with Agile or anything today, forget the Agile word, the pace of change is happening so fast. Technology, AI, STEM, everything's moving super fast, and you need to be on board with learning and continuous learning, continuous growth. Right. Everybody needs, I don't care what industry you're in, everybody needs to have that as a hobby, in my opinion. And
that's right.
You got to be doing that, because I know some senior executives at companies that I would say got a little bit comfortable in their role. Like, hey, we're making money, we're in a senior role at a company, whatever. And now they're coming back and saying, wow, there's like a lot of stuff I'm behind on. What's happening with AI? What's happening with this? And I'm like, you gotta adopt continuous learning as like a hungry lion fighting for your food. And every day when you wake up, like, what am I gonna learn? What book, audio, video? So anyway, I'm passionate about that. I can tell that you're on it and you're helping people accelerate their learning, which is really, really important. So Kay, let's talk a little bit about your thoughts on you're passionate about putting people first, which I love. I talk about that all the time. Putting people first. So let's talk about that related to leadership and building strong teams and organizations. I mean, you've built a nonprofit. You've done a lot. You're hosting a podcast. You're doing a lot of different things. What do you look for in a leader when you're looking for someone? I don't care what age they are, what experience they are. What are the attributes you're looking for in a leader that you want to help develop to be a stronger leader?
Okay. If looking at my leadership, okay, one thing I want to see in you is the ability to share the vision that you carry clearly. Whether you are the CEO or Okay, you must have the ability to share that vision clearly to the directors, CIO, CTO, chief executive, and all that. Share the vision clearly to them. Because you know what happens? When you do that, they are going to have shared understanding with you, even though you are the CEO. And what happens next is going to trickle down. Because if I am the CTO, I go to my own base shop, I'm going to share the same vision that the CEO shared with me, okay, without mixing things up. So that is why it's so important that as the vision carrier or the leader, that is number one thing I want to see how you communicate the vision to. Because I listen attentively to you. Okay, that's number one thing. Then another thing is not just sharing is enough. You don't just share and go to sleep and expect miracle to happen. All right. So when you share, you also need not to do something. Right? When you share the vision, don't tell us how to get there. Because if you do, you kill the inspiration and the innovation that we have to get there to that vision.
So stop at the vision. Don't talk about the how. Empower the people to do it in their own way to find a way to get to the vision.
Yeah. Tell us the what. We figure out the why.
Yep.
Okay, and don't go to sleep. Be a part of the whole process.
So by don't go to sleep, you mean empower the team, give them what they want, help be part of the process so the team can be clear on what they need to do and probably continue to communicate with their progress as they're delivering, right?
Exactly. That is what I mean by don't go to sleep. A good example. Agile transformation, you and I know that many people at the leadership, okay, they have what I call lip service, okay, for Agile transformation. All right. Especially when the consultants come around, that, yeah, we can do Agile transformation for you. How much is the budget? $10 million. Okay, no problem. We got the money. They drop the money. And what happens? They are not even part of the process. They just wait for Agile to do the miracle and the consultants. Okay? That is not the best way you want to do Agile transformation in an organization, no matter how small or how big. Okay? The people at the leadership must be a part of this transformation. And being a part of this transformation is part of the vision that you carry as well as a leader.
Yes, very true. This is great. These are excellent tips that you're sharing. So number one, clear vision. Number two, don't prescribe what the how is. Don't tell them what the how is. Let the team do that. Let them move for that. So let's talk about the teams. I'd imagine that you've been involved with your career, fantastic Agile career, different companies, different leadership positions. I'd imagine you've had the opportunity to hire a number of people over the years. What are some of the attributes that you look for in an individual? Maybe they're a new individual to a team. Say like on the university, say these two individuals that win the prize. Say maybe one of them comes to an interview at one of your companies, or you're assisting with that. What do you look for in somebody outside of experience? What are the attributes you're looking for in someone who's going to come in to your team and help execute on a vision, help become a stronger leader themselves?
All right, thank you. I'm looking for a human being, not a robot.
So expand on that a little bit.
Very good. All right. So let's assume, because we work in the technology space, okay, and then you are a software engineer or Agile coach, and I happen to be on the panel to interview you. Okay. Of course, everybody will talk so highly of themselves, okay, what they have accomplished and all that, and what they can bring to the company. But one question I love to ask, which many of them, only a couple of people have been able to pass very well, is, can you tell me one or two of your proudest moments? And what am I looking for, Matt? I don't need you to tell me about that you graduated with the first class, the best graduating student in your class or in your school. No, that is not what we are looking for in today's space. I'm not looking for somebody who's going to say, I write the best code in the world. No, that's a table stake. Almost everybody can do that. But asking about your proudest moment, I'm asking you how you've been able to support a team or a company to achieve their highest goal or vision, or contribution. Because with that, if you are telling me I, then I know we are going to be hiring a high person. And then if the role requires somebody else that is technically sound, maybe it's an entry-level role, like one of these guys that just graduated getting the benefit from the NGO, for example. Okay, so they are young, they are new, and all that. So if we need such individuals, we can take them in, and I will put them under my leadership wings to put them more. But if you are coming in as an experienced individual, and all you talk about your proudest moment is about I, so it's a nerve for me.
Yeah.
Unless we have no choice.
There's not enough team there. You want more team, you want more collaboration, you want more leadership skills, because everybody can be a better leader, right? We can all work together with people.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really, really good. Let's talk and it's great because you talked about a key question that you like to ask, and that's really a lot of our listeners, our audience, like to know, these questions that I'm asking, like, what do you look for when you're hiring somebody? What are some key questions that you like to ask? Let me ask you a question about the industry in general. I know we talked about you're passionate about putting people first. You're passionate about really getting STEM education, technical education out there, and rewarding individuals for doing that. And the pace of technology we mentioned is moving super, super fast today. What do you think is one of the challenges regarding the world today when it comes to companies and moving things forward? It can be part of for-profit companies, nonprofit companies, but when you have technology changing so much AI, we both talk about the importance of humans and people. How does all that work? What do you think, like in 2024, this next 12 months, what are some key challenges that you think people need to be aware of?
Okay. Right off the bat, today, if you are an existing, maybe either a small or mid-size or a big company, one thing that if you are part of the leadership that you should watch out for and be proactive and actively engaged in is AI transformation. Data. Okay, but Matt, sadly, tons of companies are still struggling with agile transformation. And right now, in the course of this struggle, they are now caught up with digital and especially AI transformation. That is, I have a strong pity for such companies. But then, what can we do better? Back to your question. Okay, today, any people at the ends of leadership, what they should be doing is first, be very proactive, okay, about what is going on in the industry. And do not limit yourself. Like, for example, if you are working maybe in a bank and you are doing your modernization, for example, and of course, when you are doing modernization, there should be some sort of innovation as well. But the problem, Matt?
What?
Many of us working in a particular industry, when we are doing innovation, we restrict ourselves to the industry that we are working in.
So you're saying think wider, look across industries, look across the world.
Across the world. And do not just look at only, for example, banking. Look at restaurants, hotels, because there could be some stuff that you can take there. Okay, if we have time, I can share a story of how McDonald's became a company that has a drive-through today. That came from Virginia, when the military base in Virginia said no more soldiers wearing fatigues into a restaurant.
Wow.
And that McDonald's was so close to that military base. So their highest number of customers were the military.
They had to learn from that and adapt accordingly.
And you know what? Where the inspiration came from? The manager of that branch went to his local bank just to do some business and got some money. And he was at the drive-thru, and money was handed over to him. And that was where the idea of drive-thru struck him. That if money could pass through the window, hamburgers can pass through the window.
That's a great story of innovation, right? Business innovation based on other industries. So keep your mind open, growth mindset.
And be engaged, listen to people, have empathy. Okay, empathy is key as a leader. Okay, put yourself in their shoes. Positive intent. Okay, psychological safety. So they can talk. When we have a problem, we want to develop something. Tell the people that is a problem that we want to solve. Okay, because it's a problem. When you have said that up front, people will put on their thinking cap.
Mm-hmm.
And they can ask questions. But when you begin to tell us what to do, how to do it, you kill inspiration.
Yep, it's true. It's true. So when you're looking at companies that are out there, because I agree with exactly what you're saying. Things are moving so fast, and there's so many companies, especially the medium to large ones that are very established. Even if they've gone through an agile transformation, a lot of times some of the leaders that have been there for a while, maybe they're 5 years away from retirement, and they're like, I don't want to go like redo my whole job from scratch. What have you seen be successful within companies to assist with the AI transformation? Like, give an example if you can, and maybe it's just made up because you haven't seen it, but give an example of what a company that embraces agile, digital, and AI transformation, like what does that look like from a leadership perspective, or maybe some examples? What are your thoughts?
Very good example, because I'm talking to you as an individual, not representing the company I'm working for, all right? But I can make reference to another company, Visa cards, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just of recent, a Visa card optimized the use of AI. Okay, and they broadcasted that all because of fraud. The case of fraud with Visa cards was so high out there and all that. So today, with AI optimization or transformation in Visa card, all right, they reduced the number of frauds, okay, drastically, almost to zero.
Wow. That's a lot of money. That's a massive.
Yes, a lot of money for them, and not only money, the company reputation is also at stake when there is always fraud and all that. So that is another big thing, the company brand. So AI helped them to save it. Okay,
that's fantastic.
So anybody doing transformation and all that, either be it agile, digital, or AI, they are almost the same, that people must be ready. Okay, and you must also develop proposition. What problem do we want AI to solve for us?
Mm-hmm.
Identify that problem. So once you identify the problem, because you are going to use your transformation to measure against that problem, if you are successful or not. You know what I'm saying? So once you do that, you must identify that. And that is why I want to put this out there to the audience. If any company, agile transformation consultancy, they come to you, Matt, and they say they want to do transformation for your company, and they bring a template of what they have done in company A, Y, Z, and they say, yeah, we can do the same thing in this place. It's not true, because you cannot compare apples to apples.
Nope. It's always different, right? Every company is unique, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that. And that's a great example. A while ago, I was involved with one of the companies, a consumer products company, that had a fraud initiative. How do we reduce fraud? Visa would be even bigger. It's like 100 times or 1,000 times that. But there's a lot of money involved, and it's also a lot of, as you said, a reputational risk for the company, and it's also challenging and stressful, I would say, for the internal organization to try to solve these complex problems without taking advantage of technology today. So like if they're trying to do it all just the humans, it's hard. 20 years ago, it was just the humans, but now we have the internet, we have a lot of collaboration, we have digital transformation, Agile, and now we have AI surging up like crazy. So if we partner together, yes, we can reinvent our roles and we can energize our companies to really move forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah, those are fantastic examples that you're sharing. Let me ask you something, because I was born and raised in the US. I've traveled a lot around the world, but I haven't had the opportunity to like live a good portion of my life in one country and then a good portion in another country. I know you have. So my friends who have had that experience naturally have a more global view, and I would say a more realistic perspective of humanity, and it's not just like US centric or just even some states. They're just people born and raised in one state, United States. That's all they see, right? You can't see outside the bubble. But what are your thoughts on what are some trends that you see that are happening out there globally? I mean, I know you mentioned AI and things like that, but is there anything unique or different that you see happening around the globe that maybe the U.S. is ahead of or behind on or not happening? Or what are some of your thoughts about some of the global trends happening today?
Of course, when we talk about the global trends, if we look at technology, okay, to be honest with you, AI transformation, China is way ahead of the US when it comes to AI, even though the US is the number one economy in the world.
Yep.
But when it comes to this side of technology, we are behind China, a country like China. All right.
AI.
Yeah,
China.
we are. Yeah, US is behind a country like China. And then another thing which I can say is US is ahead of every other country in the world outside of being the number one economy. To be honest with you, is US, because I've lived in China. I spent 9 years of my life in China. Okay. And of course, I grew up in Nigeria. Now I'm in the US. US is a home for many.
So their home base, you mean it's become a safe home for people to make a life?
Yes. This is a place that when you come as immigrants, and of course you live a good life, live a decent, well, not decent, live a law-abiding life.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
The US itself will welcome you. Okay? And this is the only country I know of that you can come and be what you could not even be in your home country.
That's fantastic. That's really cool, and it's good for me to hear that, and for the other U.S. born and lived in the U.S. most of their lives, for people from our audience. A good portion of our audience is U.S. based, and that's good to hear, because I remember this sort of relates, but it's not as significant about what you just said. But my great grandfather, back in the late 1800s, was living in England. One of my great grandfathers, and he wanted to immigrate to the U.S. for exactly what you just said. He wanted to make a better home. England at the time was not as great. It was a little tough, and at that time anyway, this is before the Henry Ford Revolution and Industrial Revolution, way before all that. But what he did is he put all his belongings into a box. It's a little chest, which I actually have in my house. It's my favorite family heirloom. A little tiny crate. Put all his belongings in. Jumped on a boat. Came over from England to the U.S. and then got here and says, "Wow, is the U.S. what I thought it was going to be? Can I make a life for myself here?" And his answer was, "Yeah, I think I can figure out a way to make some money." So he went back, asked his girlfriend to marry him, and then brought both of them back over to the US, and then started what became my grandma's part of the family and so forth. And so that's a little bit of my heritage, but I had to write a paper on that when I was younger. And that was my first exposure to, wow, the US is a separate country than the rest of the world. And I don't really understand the perspective of people who are not in the US coming to the US, right? So it's very interesting. My girlfriend's from Brazil. She spent half her life in Brazil and half her life in the US. So I've been able to, and a lot of our friends are immigrants from other countries. So I've become a lot more empathetic and aware of that over the years. But I always like to ask questions. So let's wrap up with just a couple questions. So you're originally from Africa. What's a trend in Nigeria or Africa that's really happening right now? Could relate to business or personal, but like tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, in Nigeria, for example, right, there is this trend about technology too. Okay, technology is really on the rise in Africa, especially Nigeria and Rwanda. Rwanda is a country in the east of Africa. It's really big on technology. All right. So, and that is why the AfriCelerates, the podcast that you have in my profile, we are trying as much as we can to connect the West, to open their eyes and minds to the gold mine that is available. When we say gold mine, not the usual mining of gold that they used to go and do, but now technology that, see what is going on there, and you can also cash in your place. Come, invest, and you can see the returns on your investment and all that. So today, if anybody is listening or those watching out there, go and Google what is going on about technology trends in Nigeria, and please do not leave out Rwanda. That's Rwanda. It's a huge country on technology. And these are the trends that I can talk on that anybody should watch out for in Africa at the moment.
That's fantastic. So Nigeria and Rwanda are leading the technology revolution in Africa. There's a lot of good things.
Kenya, I forgot. Kenya.
And Kenya.
Yes.
Nigeria, Rwanda, and Kenya, which is fantastic. So when you say the gold mine, are you talking about the technology developments that are happening as well as the talent of individuals who are there and understand that? Because I know some of the individuals might want to come to the US or other countries and then bring that knowledge, bring that skill to the country. So you're talking about both, right? The technology advancements as well as the people?
Yes, the human, we don't like to, let me say the human capacity.
Yes.
Available, because as it is today, Nigeria is the most populous Black nation on earth. And then this is a country that has the people in the age group that the working class or the youth, they are the highest in that population bracket. All right. So, and these are highly gifted individuals. Despite the fact that they do not have much resources to make things available for themselves, they kind of thrive and strive, to make provisions, and they are making things like, for a good example, is a company called, I don't know if I can mention the name of the company here on your podcast and that. Okay, good. It's called, I think it's called Flutter, I think it's Flutter Waves or so. It's just like PayPal. Yeah, and it's homegrown in Nigeria. And this company is what most people are using to pay, just like PayPal in Africa. And they, of course, they went to school in Canada, and after their education, they went back home to Africa, and they grew this company. And that is a big company that people can talk about, homegrown. And so that is when I say gold mine now, I'm trying to say in terms of this technology and the people available that you can work with, they can work with you, this is the right thing to do. And we want to make sure we create this equalizer with the rest of the world. Why? Not because Africa missed out on industrial revolution. Africa was nowhere when it all happened. And then now technology is happening and all that. We have to catch up. So
Exactly. That's a fantastic fantastic perspective on that, Kay. I really appreciate you sharing that because it's so helpful for our audience, because we all have different lives, right? We've all gotten here through different paths. Some of us have been in a limited geographical place. Some of us have been all over the world and around. So your perspective is unique, and it's very helpful, because I think at this stage in our world evolution, it's really important for us all to ask questions like this and listen and pay attention, because everybody has different perspectives. And as you're saying, all around the world, like look at different parts of Africa, very advanced in certain areas. And if, just as you said, if companies are not open to AI transformations and digital transformations today, they're going to get left behind. Same thing if they're not open to the talent and the technological advancements that are happening in other countries like Africa, continents like Africa, but multiple countries within Africa. It's fascinating. So as we wrap up, Kay, imagine yourself as one of the listeners. We have a lot of current leaders, future leaders. Some people are just in the industry. Some people have been around for a long time, listening to the podcast. And what are 3 takeaway tips that you would have if you're somebody listening and they want to bring out their best as a leader? They want to be better in 2024 than they were in 2023. What are 3 bits of advice you'd have for them?
Number 1, listen more. Listen more. Number 2, grow your empathy. Okay, muscles for empathy. Grow that. Number 3, okay, regardless of your position today, okay, have a clear vision and have a shared understanding of the vision. If anybody can run with these 3 today in 2024, they will be way better than they were, regardless of how long they've been in that career or about to start something.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Kay. Those are great. Listen, be more empathetic, flex your empathy muscles, as you're saying, and have a clear vision and a shared understanding with the people that you're working with. That's so important, and it's going to help them accelerate and really bring out their best as a leader and make a bigger impact in the world in a positive way.
Yes.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for being a guest on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, I learned a lot. I always learn so much on the show, but for you, it was just amazing insight and awareness of all different parts of the world and how technology revolutions are happening and AI revolutions are happening, Agile, people, humanity. There's a lot of things happening right now. So thank you so much for being here, sharing your insights, and just being the passionate leader who you are out there making a difference every day.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.